Let's get naked. It's been a while since I've had that. No?
Hey guys, so today I'm going to be doing my updated foundation and concealer routine. I'm sorry if I sound really nasally today. I woke up with terrible allergies, or maybe I'm getting sick. I don't know. Who cares? Anyway, so let's just get started. I'm not going to bore you. I was planning on using the Revlon Color Stay Whip foundation, which is from the drugstore. But if you can't tell, which you probably can't in this lighting, I've been out in the sun a lot and I've gotten a lot of color. And so this is actually too light for me right now. So I'm using the foundation that matches me really well, which is going to be MAC's Mineralize. It's their new Moisture SPF foundation. It just came out like 2 months ago, and I'm using shade NC30. Okay, so the first thing I'm just gonna do is I'm gonna pump it on the back of my hand. And then I'm going to use my Sigma Flat Top Kabuki. This is the F80. I have talked about this brush so much, it's insane. I can't get enough of it. It's absolutely amazing. So what I'm gonna do is you wanna start off with smaller amounts, okay? So I'm gonna just start off by just dabbing that in, and I'm gonna start working in circular motions. I like to start on the outer side of my cheek. That's just what I'm comfortable with. And then like you can see, I just got that glob. I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna work that all around this area. You wanna start off more sheer and then build up. You do not wanna just throw on a big amount. That's why a lot of times you'll see people when they apply foundation, they'll take dots and put it all over their face and then go in. I personally don't like doing that to myself or my clients because you never know when it's gonna be too much, and it's not easy to take off foundation once it's already sitting on the skin. So I like to work off the back of my hand because you can get a better idea and feel for what's going to look best. Also, this foundation I am using, it is extremely moisturizing. If you are very oily, you are not gonna like this foundation because it's going to make you a greasy monster. But since I'm dry, I love it. It does need to be set with a powder though, no matter what. So when I get up here to my eyebrows, I'm going to go on top of them. I do my eyes first for a reason. So I prime my eyes, I do my eyeshadow, and then I do my eyeliner and my top mascara, or if I'm gonna put lashes on, and then I do my foundation. And the reason for that is because if I do my foundation first, when I'm working with my eyes, the liner or the shadow or any sort of pigment will fall down on my cheeks and it will ruin my foundation. It might not make that big of a difference, but if you do this step and you do the eyes first and the face second, you're guaranteed for your foundation to look exactly how you want it to, because your eyeshadow is not gonna mess it up at all. So I always concentrate a lot in the middle of my eyebrows because I always tend to get, my foundation breaks up a lot in there, so I always have to put a good amount in there and then I have to set it. So I wait to do my eyebrows until after my foundation is done. So as of right now, I am just going over them, and it doesn't matter because the foundation will almost act as a primer for the pigment that I put on my brows. Okay. Make sure you get around the nose really well. All right, that's enough for foundation for now. If you have to go back later and realize that you needed to put more on or something, you can do that. But as of right now, let's move on to concealer. I have a few of them that I really love, but I'm going to use the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer today because it's gonna show up the most on camera because it's very full coverage. So I want you guys to see what I'm doing. NW20 is a little too pasty for me, and NW25 is around the same color to a little too dark. So I'm gonna take the two and I'm just gonna mix them together on the back of my hand. And then what I will do is take my finger and just mix it together to make a puddle. And then I will take it and put 3 dots on the eyes. Now I'm gonna take my beauty blender. So I wet this, all right? I take it, I put it underneath the sink. It starts off a lot smaller than this, and you just squeeze, 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 and then it's gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger to this size. Once it gets to this size, I take a paper towel, I wrap it, and I squeeze out any of the excess water so that it's not dripping wet. I love using this for concealer because it just blends it so beautifully, as you will see. And it's easy. So I use this pointed tip just to go around the side of my eye. Make sure you get close to your lash line. You don't want there to be any space there. I always make sure that I get the outer corner of my eye really well, right in this area. because a lot of times that's where you can tear up and you can get redness there very easily. So I always make sure to get a good amount of concealer right at the outer corner of my eye. So yeah, that quickly, the concealer is completely done on that eye. So you can see I wasn't joking when I say how easy that is. And we'll just do the exact same thing over here. And a very important step when doing concealer is to make sure that you get the inner corners, because you ever see those girls where like their face is one shade and then the under eye is one shade, but then in here is way lighter or way darker. It's because you're not blending that concealer in that area. So even if you go in manually with your fingers and blend concealer in that inner eye, I recommend it because you don't want that to be sitting there. So I can even take a little bit more off the back of my hand, just a tiny bit, and I'll touch it right in here. Just to make sure that none of that color is different. We want all of this color to move together. Even though like the inner part of our face with that concealer is a little bit lighter, we still want it to flow. We want it to have a very even movement to it so that nothing is choppy or jaggedy. Then because that concealer was a little bit lighter than my foundation, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna touch it on my chin. I'm gonna touch it right here above my lip. And then I'm gonna touch it almost in a cross in between my eyebrows. And what this will do is even everything out so that the foundation, I just had such a thick accent when I said that, so that the foundation isn't like dark on the face and then bright under the eyes. You want everything to have an evenness to it. So you have to put the lightness evenly distributed throughout the face. So under eyes and then T-zone so that it looks like a natural highlight. Otherwise it's just too much. And if you want to go in and highlight with anything else, if you want to go in and use any cream highlighter, now would be the time. Because once you put powder on your face, you're done with creams. I mean, like, it does not matter if I forget a cream and I'm like, oh no, I've completely forgot, like I need to go back. It does not matter. If you have put powder on your face, do not go back with a cream, because that is the quickest way that you are gonna get buildup and cakey. So once powder is on your skin, you're done. You can only put powder. So like right now, I feel like I maybe need a little bit of a pinkish beigeish highlight right in this area. I'm feeling like I'm not completely even, so I would do that now as opposed to doing that later. I'm gonna take MAC's Prep and Prime and Radiant Rose and just do 2 slashes of that, going back with the Beauty Blender, and then buffing this out. I know it's gonna look really, really, really stark white and pink at first, but that is a-okay. And you wanna bring this back all the way to the temples. You don't wanna stop right here. Make sure you bring it back so that it can all be blended out. Make sure you bring it up on the side of the nose. And if you wanna do any contouring in this area later, that's all on you, but just make sure that you bring this highlight all around and don't just leave it directly under the eye. And then whatever is left on the Beauty Blender, I just drag around in the T-zone only, and you can also bring it right here if you want, just because that will help define your contour. So, or make your cheekbones stand out a little bit more if you get it on the bottom of the face. All right, I'm gonna take Mineralize Skin Finish in Medium Plus, and I'm going to just use any brush. This is a Real Techniques brush. I don't know which one, but it looks like so. All my brushes right now are being washed and all over the place. I've been crazy busy recently, so I'm using what I've got. So I'm just gonna take this and I'm going to concentrate on the T-zone. Even though I am very dry, it's really important to set this foundation, especially in the hot winter months, because no matter how dry I am, I may not get oily, but it will move. So I just set my T-zone area, and that's pretty much all I have to worry about. This area is not gonna move no matter what. Plus I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna use bronzers and blushes and put powder on that area anyways. So just a light amount of powder around here. And then you can also use like a mineralized skin finish in a light shade, or you can use something that is made for the under eye area if you want to set your concealer, if you want to give more of a highlight under there. That is all on you. I'm going to use this MAC Pro highlight right here. It's called Emphasize. You can see how much I used it up this weekend. It is getting time to replace it. And then I'm just going to take a Sigma, what is this, F35. This is a tapered highlighter brush, and I'm just going to get a little bit in there, and I'm going to concentrate on the inner corners of my eye and swoop that up to the temple and back down to the nose. Just with one stroke. I'm not going to go back and get any additional highlight for that. This is just going to smooth everything out for my under eye concealer and make it so that nothing moves. Like that. You can use anything left on the brush once again to highlight the areas in the T-zone, and that's that. All right, so now I will go ahead and finish off the rest of my face, and I will be back in just a second. All right, so I am back. All I did was go ahead and apply some bronzer, blush, and highlight, and I do have a video for that, so I will put that link below. I do ramble in the beginning of that video, so just go ahead and fast forward through me. Other than that, all we're gonna wanna do to finish off the face is use a makeup setting spray, and these things really do work. I'm gonna use the Urban Decay Chill Makeup Setting Spray because I think out of all of them, this works on the most variety of skin types. The MAC Fix Plus is great too, but you're gonna wanna use this if you're more on the dry to normal side because this is going to give you a dewy finish. As opposed to this one, I don't really notice so much of the dewy finish, maybe a little, but this really sets the makeup beautifully. So I really enjoy this one. Also, Skindinavia Model in a Bottle is great for oily skin. So what you're gonna wanna do is I do 4 sprays, whatever you're comfortable with. And then I look straight forward like I'm looking into the camera right now. If I were to look up or look down, because of the mascara on my eyelashes, it would get on my face and I get little black dots because as it's setting, it is wet. So it's also good to try not to talk while you're doing this as well, because the more you talk, the more you're gonna get lines in these areas. So when you spray and everything is wet and setting, try not to make any facial expressions so that everything stays the same. And then after that, you're good. It's like hairspraying the face. Okay, so that is my foundation routine. I really hope you guys enjoy this video. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you soon. Bye.